Hi, everyone, and welcome to our roundtable discussion right here in the studio. Today, I'm joined by two close friends of mine, Claudia Bell and Dr. Jennifer Ashton. Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you for having us here.
It's great to see you in this luxurious setting that we've.
So close, but yet so
yes,
far
so
away.
close and yet so far. We almost touched
That's
each
right.
other backstage, but then we decided
no.
against it.
Yep.
Yes, of course. Now, both of your lives have been impacted, obviously, by mental health issues and, of course, suicide. Dr. Jen, why don't you start and take us through your story a little bit?
Well, my story, as you guys both know, started in February of 2017 when not even 2 weeks after my amicable divorce, my ex-husband, Rob, died by suicide. My children were 17 and 18 at the time, and his suicide came completely out of the blue. And to say that it completely devastated our world and blew it apart is obviously an understatement. And so my priority, as we all know as moms, was my children, still is my children every single day. And we kind of just became enveloped in this world of mental health, mental illness awareness, destigmatizing something that so many adults and Americans and teenagers live with. And we've learned a lot, and we continue to learn a lot.
I watched my dear friend Claudia Bell here struggle, and
yeah.
You know, as the support group of women that we all sort of like circled around Claudia, I watched her almost reject help for herself. So Claudia, if you wouldn't mind taking us through a little bit about your journey and when, you know, at what level was it that you finally sort of said, okay, maybe I need to think about how I'm looking at.
Absolutely. Well, my story is very similar to Dr. Jen's. My husband actually died by suicide 2 weeks after your husband did, and we were connected through a dear friend of ours, another doctor, and we met immediately and became friends. I always knew that my husband struggled with some sort of mental illness. However, he was very proud and rejected help. And I always knew in the back of my mind, you know, one day he's going to have a heart attack, or, you know, he's too stressed. You know it firsthand.
Yeah.
We traveled with Kelly and Mark a lot. Like, he was wound so tight. He was so enmeshed in his family and his business. And he had a long line of mental illness in his family. His brother died of a drug overdose, and his father, we believe, died by suicide as well. So this is something that has become completely important to our family. I unfortunately witnessed my husband die and my children were home. So in and that self, it was a completely traumatic experience. Like we were just saying, Kelly slept on my floor for a week with me. I wouldn't go back in my bedroom. I had to move. All these things that I had to take care of, and had an amazing support system. And like you were saying, for the last 3.5 years, I have been taking care of my kids and taking care of my kids and taking them to therapy. I had to hospitalize one of my daughters. I had to deal with so many things. And every week when I go to therapy, I talk about my kids. And
Every time we ever spoke, that's all you spoke about.
Yeah.
So
every dinner, that's all we talked about.
But as I opened up to Kelly, and I'm happy to share with everyone that I, for 2 weeks ago, went away for 2 weeks and did intensive EMDR therapy to deal with my trauma and only talk about myself. And I feel like a new person right now. It's a marathon, not a sprint, as we know, but I feel a tremendous weight lifted off my shoulders. And I also feel that I can manage my children better and be a lot more mindful and actually allow myself to open up to them about how I'm really feeling instead of suppressing those emotions. And why I think NAMI is so important is I really, really wish that I knew about NAMI in the times when I was struggling with my husband, trying to get him help trying to find an outlet to talk to people who knew what I was going through. And what NAMI does is they provide all different classes that are peer-led by people who've gone through the classes, have gone through what we've gone through, suffer from any mental illness, but are willing to talk about it. And I truly wish that I had this to go to when I was dealing with my husband. They have classes for survivors of suicide. They have classes for everyone, not just people who are suffering from mental challenges. So I've loved getting involved with this organization because I think, as we know, suicide stems from some sort of mental illness. And
it's amazing, though, watching you sit here, like the fact that you're here, I can't even believe it. It's like, it's really just, it's a testament to your growth and to where you are.
Right, and you know what? By destigmatizing mental illness, which is what NAMI does, is so important because, like you said, it's like having an injured knee. We need to normalize the conversation around mental illness. I have anxiety now. My daughters have anxiety now, depression. More than not, someone is suffering from some sort of mental health, anything. And we need to erase the stigma around that. And it is so important to me, to all of us, and to my children who work tirelessly in doing this too. And that's what I think NAMI's main mission is, to let's normalize this conversation. Let's provide free care for anyone who deserves it. It's so very important that we take away this stigma.
So if somebody is watching this right now, somebody is out there watching this, and they are struggling with mental health issues, but maybe they're resistant to getting the
conversation, there's hope, there's help. You're not alone. Those are the three most important things that someone needs to hear, and not just once, over and over again. You need to not leave them alone, and you need to get them help, whether it's acute help in a psychiatric ER or whether it's long-term help like NAMI, support, prevention. You are learning to be fluent in the language of you, how you respond to stress, how you respond to life's ups and downs. Processing those emotions is not easy.
What I've learned in the last few weeks is, well, through this whole process, but in really looking within myself, is that empathy is the most important. That word sits in the front of my head every single day. I look back, empathy versus sympathy, very Brené Brown, but it's empathy, even if it's someone who's going through a really hard time. You say, I'm here to listen to you. I may have not gone through this, but lean on my shoulder and I'll listen to you. Not say, don't just say, oh, I'm so sorry for you and walk away. And, and I think that's why NAMI is so great, because you can go to this place and they appear who's gone through exactly what you've gone through, is teaching you, been through this class and now teaching you. And you're amongst peers that have gone through exactly the same thing. And that is truly invaluable. And the empathy that you see there is absolutely incredible.
It's the strongest among us that sometimes are struggling the most. And, I'm just so grateful to both of you for sort of bringing your stories out. I know they're not easy. And so it's very brave. Your bravery knows no ends. The only thing matched by your bravery is both of you're both empaths, so your empathy and your bravery.
Thank you.
We thank you both for sharing your stories with us tonight, and spread the word about NAMI-NYC's incredible resources. Thank you for joining me tonight,
and thank you for being involved with NAMI and coming on board with us. It means the world.
This matters. It's important, and it's easy to get behind things that matter and that are important.